I'm going to assume in this video that you understand why the marginal revenue curve is a perfectly horizontal line, as is illustrated in the graph below. Also, that you understand that price and marginal revenue are synonymous for firms operating in a purely competitive market. If you understand that, then the profit maximizing rule should come naturally to you and should make sense to you. What the profit maximizing rule says is as long as the price is greater than the average total cost, meaning the price you receive per unit is greater than the cost you incur per unit, you will earn a positive economic profit. And the way you maximize that profit is to produce where marginal revenue and marginal cost are equal. If you think about it, marginal revenue is the additional revenue you generate when you produce and sell one more unit of something. Marginal cost is the additional cost that you incur when you produce that unit that you want to sell. So it should make sense that your decision to produce the next unit of output would be positive as long as the revenue you generate from that exceeds the cost that you will incur to produce it. If the opposite were true, if when you produce the next unit of output, the cost were greater than the revenue, well, then your profit will go down and it wouldn't make any sense to do that. So that's why we stress this marginal revenue, marginal cost rule so much. So back to the rule. If the price becomes less than the average total cost, then you're going to lose money. Well, then you're faced with the decision of, am I going to produce, albeit at a loss, or am I going to shut down and produce nothing? That's where this profit maximizing, loss minimizing rule becomes a decision matrix. Because if the price falls below the average total cost, you then have to compare the price to the average variable cost. If the price is above the average variable cost, you should continue to produce, but you are going to lose money in the short run. Why would you produce and lose money in the short run? Well, think about it. As long as the price is greater than the average variable cost, then you can offset some of your fixed cost. If you shut down, you don't have the ability to offset any of your fixed cost. So shutting down will cause you to lose all of your fixed cost. Continuing to produce would allow you to offset some of those fixed costs. So your loss minimizing situation would be to produce, and you would still choose to produce where marginal revenue and marginal cost are equal. Even though you're not making a positive economic profit, you would be minimizing your losses. However, if the price falls so low that it falls even below the average variable cost, well, what that means is you can't cover any of your fixed cost, and then you should shut down, which by definition for us means produce zero output. Yes, you'll still lose your fixed cost, but that is your loss minimizing scenario. Better to lose your fixed cost only than to lose your fixed cost plus incur variable cost by producing output that shouldn't be produced. Graphically, you can see what that looks like on this graph down at the bottom. As long as the price is anywhere above, if this marginal revenue, horizontal marginal revenue curve were anywhere above this lowest point on the average total cost curve, then you're going to make a positive profit and you would choose to produce wherever that marginal revenue curve intersects the marginal cost curve, because that's what the rule says. If the price falls below the minimum average total cost, well, then you know you're going to lose money, but let's say it's somewhere in between this $74 and $91.43. If the price is in there, yes, you lose money because you don't cover your total cost, but you do cover all of your variable cost and then some, because the price that you get per unit is above the average variable cost. And we know this is the lowest point on the average variable cost curve because that's where the marginal cost curve intersects it. So as long as the price is anywhere in between these two prices, you're going to continue to produce, and you're going to produce wherever that price intersects the marginal cost curve, and you'll minimize your losses. Once that price falls to 74, then you no longer have the ability to cover any of your fixed cost, and that's when you might as well shut down. And that's what this final bullet point up here says. If the price falls below average variable cost, shut down and don't produce anything, because that's the way you're going to minimize losses. This is the complete profit maximization rule that we will follow as we move forward into the remaining chapters that cover pure monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. So fortunately, this rule doesn't change from here on out. It's the same decision-making process for any type of producer. You really need to make sure that you understand this profit maximizing rule for the exam as well as homework. I hope this helps. Thanks a lot.